Yo, it's your boy Trage, aka the coldest one. Right now, I'm at JV8 Studios. I'm going to be breaking the bar right now. So check it out. It's going to be about my foundation freestyle. Don't miss out.
I don't care about a person's feelings, can't mind what mentioned a lot. Last few days I've been acting different, I can't lie man, I'm losing the plot.
I don't care about a person's feelings, can't lie man, I'm losing the plot. It was more so when I came into this track, like it was a thing where I was going through some things and there was a lot of like, I guess, anger that I needed to release. Because one thing with me, when it comes to like feelings, I like to put it into the track. So when I was just talking about like losing the plot, it was just more so like pouring that out into the track and expressing my feelings. So a lot of times when people hear this, they hear a lot of like anger and I guess somewhat sadness, but more so anger.
Guys want to talk about being successful, no one puts in the work.
Guys want to talk about being successful, no one puts in the work. You know, throughout my journey, I've met a lot of people that talk a lot. And when it comes to actions, it's never really a thing. I have a big quote where I believe that people like the thought of an idea, but when it comes to the actual like process of it, a lot of people drop out because, you know, a lot of people nowadays don't really tend to do the work. It's only a short few that like to go in with the grind and, you know, see the bigger picture, especially when you're trying to show them the vision that, yeah, the first week we might have to work like 8 hours a day, but like, trust me, in like another week's time, we will kick our feet up and everything will be good. But, you know, that's what I mean about a lot of people just, like to talk essentially, yeah.
That guys and girls crave a smart whip, but won't find ways to drive a smart whip. The way these youngers are moving these days won't grind for the dream, but bring a nightmare, so look.
Guys and girls crave a smart whip, but won't find ways to drive a smart whip. The way these youngers are moving these days won't grind for a dream, but bring a nightmare, so look. So essentially what I'm saying, I'm sure a lot of people have seen people doing a smart whip. We've seen so many like videos of people like losing like brain cells and stuff like that. But it's more so the sense of me saying that people are more focused on having a good time than trying to grind and progress for the future. So when I talk about smart whip, the drug, and then also a smart whip that be in a car, and that comes down to the saying of people are more focused on actually the fun than opposed to grinding out. And then in the future, you will have that fun, you know, driving in that smart whip, you know, cruising now, maybe you're in LA, enjoying the breeze, you know, and also when I talk about they like to bring a nightmare, like I feel like with people that are doing these things, that whether like doing drugs or whatnot, you're creating a thing to where, you know, your mum and dad never wanted you to do that. And then now you're doing all these things, you know, you're creating something that your parents didn't want. So almost it's like a nightmare. It's like they never imagined you to do that.
So I love language is an act of service. I hear that though. Last time I gave a girl service was no reception for the connection though.
So I love language as an act of service. I hear that though. Last time I gave a girl service was no reception for the connection though. So essentially I was just playing on words. So obviously we know reception, connection, service. If you've got no service, you're not going to get no reception, therefore you're going to have no connection. But I was also linking this to a girl who I once dated. She told me that her love language was an act of service. But, you know, I never felt that was a thing. It was just words. So, you know, I couldn't respond to that. There was no connection there. There was no, okay, you said your thing is an act of service, but where is that? So therefore, we never really bonded, and that's what led us having to, you know, split ways, essentially, because there was no connection. So
I seen lies in the flesh, in a big amount too. Say that you see my vision, but ask for a price when the clout starts seeping through.
I see lies in the flesh, in a big amount too. Say that you see my vision, but ask for a price when the clout starts seeping through. So, you know, you see lies in the flesh. You know, there's a lot of times you talk to people, they may say one thing, but behind closed doors it's another thing. But like, I also feel like clout has become a big drug nowadays. I always believe that if you love my passion, you know, there should not always be a price behind that. You know, you're doing it out of a thing because you've heard me and you're like, oh yeah, you're hard, let's get working. And, you know, not trying to use me as, oh, a dollar sign, a way to get the green. I don't think that's how it should be, even though it is. But, you know, realistically, it should be a thing to where if you like what I'm doing, I like what you're doing, let's come together, build this empire, and then try to grow that and, you know, maximize it to a point where you can't maximize it no more. But unfortunately, nowadays, people want to find ways to make money, even if it's through your talent. So,
See my bro carry shanks like Zoro and die for the shanks, can't lie about that.
see my bro carry shanks like Zoro and die from the shanks, can't lie about that. So some of you guys are anime lovers like myself, you know, One Piece, Zoro, he's always carrying 3 swords with him, but also relating it to what I've seen on like, when you're living in London, you know, I've seen, you know, friends carry knives and obviously die by their own knives. I guess it comes down to the saying, live by the knife, die by the knife. And when I say I can't lie about that, you know, I'm telling the truth. Like, this is what I've seen. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it as well. And it's not obviously a nice thing to see, you know, your friend die by what he normally brings around the street. So yeah, essentially that's what's happened.
Music first and girl them later, bro. I can't lie about that.
Music first, then girl them later, bro. I can't lie about that. When it comes to your passion, that should be a number one priority. Obviously, family is first, always. But generally, like, you know, everyone's been put on this earth for a reason. And I definitely feel like if you have a talent or a passion, that should be your number one priority before, you know, like other temptations, because temptations are everywhere. And that could be a big distraction to why your goal just gets cut. So that's why I say, you know, music first, then the girls later, because, you know, as you're growing as an artist, the girls will just naturally come.
Keep my friends in check so they know I won't do them wrong. My circle smart, don't trust outsiders. Too many pocket watchers, so I'm careful who I give my attention to.
My circle's small, I don't trust outsiders. Too many pocket watchers, so I'm careful who I give my attention to. A lot of times when you're on your grind, a lot of people are watching your pockets. People assume that you make so much money because you're an artist. There's a lot of things I've done broke, so, but, you know, people just normally watching other people's bags and not focusing on themselves. People are too worried about what other people are doing. And I've seen that, you know, personally. I always make sure that I give my attention to certain people because not everyone deserves your attention, because if you give everyone your attention, you could be stretching yourself so thin, you just become tired, exhausted, just forget what you're even doing. So,
you get the press and blame it on the world, but I get the press and put it in the music.
You get the press and put it on the world, but I get the press and put it in the music. So yeah, again, like I said, like, you know, when I'm going through the feeling of sadness or just whatever mood that I'm in, I always put that in the music. I don't try to blame the world like, oh, it's the system, it's because of this, because of that, because more time it could have just been my fault and I never actually put in the work. So yeah, that's why I believe, and that's why I put behind that bar.
Please don't talk on the net, cause IRL you're a different person.
Please don't talk on the net, cause IRL you're a different person. So, you know, a lot of people carry this online persona and people live behind a screen, so they feel the need they can say certain things and get away with it. But like with me, I feel like there's so many times where the person you see on the screen, they're not the person you see them on the screen. They're a complete different person. They may be acting all tough, and then in person they're all shy, and you're like, yo, where is this energy that you brought on the net? So I just say, look, please don't talk, because you're just not that person.
See how they treat their margin, you will know if they're a real one too.
See how they treat their margin, you will know if they're a real one too. You know, say your mum held you in for 9 months, for you to now disrespect her. You know, if you see that from a friend or family, you could tell the person they are. They're ungrateful. They just don't like life. They're probably just battling worse than demons at this point. From what I meant in that bar is that you can tell from how someone treats their parents, how they're probably going to treat you, essentially. So that's why I said, see how they treat their marge, and you will know how they're going to treat you, and you know if they're a real one from that. If they treat their marge good, probably a real one. If they don't, stay far away. All right, so yes, just to wrap up the song in terms of what it was about. So this Foundation freestyle, you know, the beat is quite familiar. It first started off from Cadet, bigs up to him, but also RIP to him. He was one of my biggest inspirations when he first came out, because, you know, something that I struggled as an artist was, you know, being vulnerable in my music and putting that in the music. I feel like through him, I was able to bring that sort of side out of me. So when I heard the beat and the sample and everything, it was just like, yeah, I just had to put this through, because I was going through a tough time. I'm sure a lot of people know as well what I was going through, but it just had to get put down, especially when it came to seeing people's fakeness and not being treated in the way I wanted to. So this song is not only just for me, I'm also speaking on the behalf of many other people who could be possibly going through the same thing, but at the same time, I'm giving advice throughout the song, so throughout the freestyle, essentially. So there's like a mixture between advice and the stuff that I've gone through that a lot of people can relate to. So yeah, that's the foundation freestyle right there. All right, people, I hope you enjoyed that one. Like I said, it's your boy Trage. That's Trage. My socials are Trage02 for the people that's born in February. All right, but also like, comment, subscribe. Hit up JV8 Studios because they're coming with some bangers, and I'm just one of the guys that happens to be on it. But yeah, see you soon.